we have discussed about maximum subarray sum with k distinct element, correct? Is there anyone who is having any doubt in that? This is the right time to ask. Otherwise, we will move to the next problem. And then I remember I have also given you a problem to solve a maximum subset sum such that no two element occurs consecutively in the array. Okay, so that problem you keep it with yourself for now. Give it a thought every now and then, and let's see, when right times come we will discuss about that. See, today we are going to discuss one more problem, very important problem, and then the algorithm that we use to solve it is called as Cardan's algorithm. Okay, I don't know how people write it, but then they read it like Cardan's algorithm. Okay, so it might go like this also, K-A-D-A-N-A-S, I am not sure. So when you go and research about it, please be a little bit cautious that this spelling might be incorrect. Anyway, let's have a look at the problem statement. So it goes like this. You are given an array. Let's say this is the array we are talking about. Okay. Then -6, 3, 5, -2, -1, 18, then let's say 9, -6. And then the question that was asked to you, it's something like this: maximum subarray sum. That's it. Maximum subarray sum. So earlier, these two problems that we have discussed, maximum subarray sum of size k, and then again maximum subarray sum of size k with k distinct element. In order to solve these two problems, we have used sliding window protocol. Correct? Sliding window protocol. But then you see, the thing is, these two problems, they are only asking you to look at subarray with size k. That's it. Either you talk about this or you talk about this, both of these problems. So we know for a fact that if this array length is n, we are going to have n cross n plus 1 by 2, these many subarray. Okay, these two problem, maximum subarray sum of size k and maximum subarray sum of size k with k distinct element, both of these problems does not want you to be looking at every subarray, but they only want you to look at subarray of size k. And how many subarray of size k we will have? We will have exactly n minus k plus 1, these many subarray of size k. So the thing is, if there are a linear number of observation, then it is always guaranteed that you can solve that problem in linear time. So max to max, this much time I will take. Okay, cross k. Actually, it is still not linear. Why this cross k? Sorry, not cross k, plus k. Okay, plus k. The reason being, for only one subarray we are running the loop in sliding window protocol. So either with this problem or with this problem, we executed our loop only for the first subarray. Correct? So there are n minus k plus 1, these many subarray of size k. So I will take this much time and then k amount of time for first subarray. So you see, in n plus 1 iteration you could have solved that problem. So long story short, it's order of n itself. You will see that there are a certain number of problems, certain kya, almost every problem, where, I mean not almost, but then certain or some, you can say whatsoever you want to say, where you will see that your observation size is quadratic. For example, this problem. So I know that there are n cross n plus 1 by 2, these many subarray. So I have order of n square subarray. So my observation size is quadratic, but then we will still be able to answer some of the queries in linear time. This one problem is a very good problem, but then remember one thing: before you go and apply a intuition like this, you also need to make sure from your intuitive knowledge itself. Sometime it might not be possible also. What if I ask you to print every subarray? Now I know that there are order of n squared subarray, and since I am printing, there is no way you can solve it in less than n square time. You will have to take every subarray and you will have to print it. Correct? Since printing will not count in output time complexity, but then I will still be choosing every subarray and I will choose exactly these many subarray. But what if I ask you that, okay, I don't really want you to print every subarray, instead you just tell me maximum subarray sum. Now logically or common sense says this, that okay, if there are 10 different person like p1, p2, p3, p10, and I want to know the maximum height, so I will have to look at every person one by one, otherwise I might end up with incorrect result. Okay, so if there are 10 different person and I want to find out person with maximum height, logically we should look at every single person. Correct? Same logic you can apply here also, that sir, if there are n cross n plus 1 by 2 subarray, okay, and I want to find maximum subarray sum. So let's say s1, s2, s3, subarray 1, subarray 2, subarray 3, and so on and so forth. And if I want to find maximum subarray sum, I should look at every subarray one by one. If I leave any subarray, I might end up with incorrect result. So this intuition, it might look good in one go, but then try to understand that majority of these subarray will have overlapping window by window. For example, if I pick subarray of size 2, okay, if I pick subarray of size 2, so this is my first subarray, then I will move forward, this is my next subarray. So you see, in order to find out maximum subarray sum of size 2, we don't really need to run a loop every time and so on and so forth. So long story short, there are some certain point of improvisation, and then there are some algorithms that actually exploit those improvisation and then do something. What I am trying to conclude, that logically things goes like this, that if there are n square number of observation that needs to be done, then there is going to be at least n square of time that you will be consuming. But before you conclude this, you also need to make sure that what exactly is the nature of problem. For example, here I am not asking you which subarray will have maximum size. I am not asking you to print every subarray. I am only interested in sum. So look how we are going to execute Kadans algorithm here. And remember one thing, whenever something goes like this, sum, maximum, minimum, median, mode, or anything that is like consecutive or depends on consecutive element and so on and so forth, so there are multiple implications of Kadans algorithm. This is one such problem that we are going to discuss today, and it's very simple. And if you want to understand this problem, for now let's just assume that it is guaranteed that there are no negative element in this problem. Actually, this guarantee is not there with the problem. The problem goes like, you are given an array, tell me maximum subarray sum. Okay, and now I want to apply some intuition. So what I did, uh, I am assuming, this is a false assumption, but then I am assuming that there's no negative element. No negative element. What it means, that your maximum sum can never be negative. Okay, this assumption, if you put this assumption on this problem, it is very true that this is a very wrong assumption. Clearly in this case, you can clearly see that there are negative elements. So the way we will write the code now, you will get to see that we are going to trace that code and it will work fine in every case. It's just I find it a little bit easy to explain when we explain it with this assumption, but it is not going to make any difference at the end of the day. Okay, so for now we will move forward with a guarantee like this, that there's not going to my answer is not going to be negative. Min to min it will be 0. Now look at the story, how we will execute Kadans algorithm here. See, we will start something like this. Let's say a train. Okay, a train. Initially, this train will have a sum 0. Okay, this train will have a sum 0. and I will say that okay train, please start from this element, go till this element, and by the time you come here, please make sure that you have my maximum sub array sum. Okay, maximum sub array sum. This is what I want this train to do. Now how this train is going to do, please pay close attention, and if I make any mistake, please correct me. See, let's say that instead of -3, here we have 2, and let's say here we have -8. Okay, -8. Now this train will move forward, so initially my sum is 0. When I move one step forward, my sum will become 0 plus -2. Let's make it -2, or 2 ही रहने दो. 0 plus 2, so it will become 2. Whenever any element, see, since we are talking about subarray, continuity needs to be maintained. You cannot go to this, let's say that if this 2 happens to be -2, you cannot come to this 2 -2 and say that okay, I will not allow you to contribute in the sum. That's not going to be the case. The moment you do it, you have broken the continuity. Okay, or you can also interpret it like this, that okay sir, I do not want to assume that there are no negative element. Okay, so if I do not want to assume, then in that case you see how I will interpret it. I will be having a answer variable that will be initialized with -infinity. Correct. I will start with 0, then I will move one step forward. Now I will see that my sum have become negative. Now you think about it, if I want to maximize my sum, is it in our interest to carry the same train forward? Clearly it is not. Okay, no matter what element we have ahead of us, if I am carrying a negative value, my sum is never going to be maximum. It will always be something less than maximum. Why? Because I have come to this -5, this 5 with -2, so -2 plus 5 together it will become 3. ये 5 अकेले 5 था, so why should this 5 take this headache? Even if it happens to be a negative element, then also it is not in our interest. If I combine this -2 with this -5, I will end up with this -7. This -5 alone is greater. Then why should we move forward with a train having a negative value? So this is a moment where we want to start a new train. Okay, where we want to start a new train, I will say that oh, okay, its net sum, the current train net sum has become negative, so I am not going to continue with the same train. But then before we discard this train and start a new train from the next element, I will also compare. Okay, so this is my sum. I will also compare that is my current sum greater than answer. Yes, it is greater than answer, so I will update my answer to -2, and then I will start a new train. So again I will initialize my sum with 0, then we will move forward. 5, I will let 5 contribute to my train sum, and my train sum will become 5. Then -8. So here I will let -8 contribute to my train sum, and my train sum will become negative, which is -3. Correct. Now next point. So first point, whenever you have decided to break a train, so one such case that might give birth to a breaking is net negative. Now think about this particular point. Here my train sum has become net negative. Okay, if I go and check that is my current sum greater than my train sum, it will say that no, it's not. Let's say that instead of -8 it happens to be -6, so my train sum will become -1. So yes, it is greater. I will update my answer to -1, and then I will break my train here. This is also incorrect. The reason being, somewhere in between this train we have put this burden of -6 to a positive element. Do you see this or not? Every one of you, this 5 can come and say that okay, in this range the maximum sum that you have find out is -1. this 5 can come and say that I myself is greater than what you have right now. So why you have combined me with this -2 or -6? Do you understand what's happening here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So second point, when you might want to break your train is whenever a positive element is boarding your train. So you see how we are going to move forward like this. So there are currently two conditions that you have seen. Either your train sum becomes negative, and actually if you are someone who already know, let me tell you one more thing. If you are wondering, when I am done counting what are the different ways, what are the different scenarios when I will be breaking my train, you will realize that you should actually perform this check everywhere. See how we are going to move forward. I will start with train sum as 0. So currently we are here. We will move one step forward and I have a answer minus infinity. We will move one step forward. My sum will become net negative. Okay. So I will break my train. So before I break, I will check that is my sum greater than my answer? Yes. So I will update my answer. And then I will start a new train. Starting a new train simply means that you let this loop go forward and you again reset your sum with 0. Okay. So we will move one more step forward. My sum will become 5. Okay. And I have just shown you that if you do not perform this check right away, when you have added this 5 to your train, not the previous train, but then to a new train. If you do not perform this check right away, there might be a possibility that this 5 gets combined with some negative element and it will lose its value. So what we will do, in this case also we will keep on checking every time my train moves one step forward. I will keep on checking, is my current train sum greater than my answer? Yes. So I will update my answer. Now again I have come here. My train sum becomes -3. This is a moment when I want to break my train. Okay. So this was my first breaking. This is my second breaking. Before I break, I will check that is my current train sum greater than my answer? No. So I will not update, but I will definitely break. I will again reset my sum to 0. I will start from here. It will become -6. Again a net negative. This is also a place where I want to break. Okay. So is my current train sum greater than my answer? No. So I will again reset it to 0 and I will move forward. Now 3. So from 0 it will become 3. Then 5. From 3 it will become 8. Now you see, I do not know that till what this positive element keeps on coming and when some minus comes in between and breaks something in between. So like let's say that this train moves a little bit forward here, -2. Okay. Or let's say that instead of -2, if it happens to be -12, my train sum will become net negative. So I will break my train here. This is incorrect. The reason being, you have put this burden of -12 on this 3 and 5. So it's always better that you keep on checking it everywhere, like every time whenever some element boards, whether you are breaking your train or not, it does not matter. You keep on checking your answer. So when I will come here, 3, is 3 greater than my answer? No. So I will move forward. 8, is 8 greater than my answer? Yes. So I will update my answer. Now I went to -12, so I will become -4. Now this is a moment when I want to break my train. Correct. So this is my next breaking that we are doing here. Now before I break, I will check that is my current train sum greater than my answer? No. So I will leave my answer as it is and then we will again start with 0. So from 0 I will go -1. Okay. Now again this is a net negative scenario. So whenever a net negative occurs, I will reset my sum to 0. That it's very obvious, because why I want to carry forward this net negative. Whether you combine this net negative with a negative value, you will still have lesser. If you combine this net negative with a positive value, you will still have something that is lesser than that this element could have given you a standalone. Okay. So -1, again nothing will happen. Then we will move forward here. Again we are going to start with 0. So from 0 I will become 18. Before I move forward, I will check that is my current train sum greater than my answer? Yes. So 18. Now then I will go to 9. 27. Is my current train sum greater than my answer? Yes. 27. Then I will move one more step forward. 21. Is my current train sum greater than my answer? No. So I will let it be like this itself, and then I will reach end of the array. And then by that time, whatever is present in your answer, you are going to say that this is my answer. Do you understand this, every one of you?
Yes, sir.
यस सर बट ये कुछ कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नहीं होगा स्लाइडिंग विंडो इजी नहीं था मतलब
ये
तो हमें
स्लाइडिंग विंडो से ज़्यादा इजी है माधव, कॉम्प्लिकेटेड कहाँ है? लेट्स टेक वन मोर एग्जांपल.
कंफ्यूजिंग से ज़्यादा होगा और कुछ नहीं सर.
कंफ्यूजिंग इसलिए हो गया ना बिकॉज आई वाज जस्ट ट्राइंग टू conclude that you could have broken this train at every point. Anyway, let's look here. Look at another test case. ज़्यादा इजी होगा. देखो, let's say that you are given an array -3, 5, 8, 2, -9, 19, 3, -16, 5, 25, -6, -8, 22. Let's try to execute it on this array. एकदम ध्यान से देखिएगा. We are going to maintain a answer variable that will be initialized with -infinity. Then we will start a train from here. Okay. So initially I have my sum as 0. The moment I move one step forward, my sum will become -3. Now, do you understand this or not, every one of you, that it is not in our interest to carry a net negative value forward? Why? Because we want to maximize our sum. Let's say that I combine this -3 with a negative value. So I will have -5. This -2 will say that why you have combined me this with this -3. I myself is greater than what you have right now. So if you want to maximize, you just choose me alone. Why are you combining me with this -3? Let's say that I combine this -3 with a positive value. So in this case, I will have 11. Now this 14 will again say the same thing. That why you have combined me with this. I myself is greater than what you have right now. So in both of the cases, it does not matter what lies ahead. Carrying a net negative value is not in our interest. Do you understand, guys?
यस सर.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so whenever a net negative occurs, I will just reset my sum, but then before I reset, I will also check that is my current sum greater than my answer. If it is greater, I will update my answer. Why I am doing it like this? Because suppose I have an array like this. Now you see in this case your -3 is the answer. So this is your answer variable initialized with -infinity. Your sum is 0. You move one step forward, you will become -3. If you do not compare, you will lose this -3 because rest every other value a standalone is lesser than this, combined also lesser than this. So this might also happen. So whenever we are breaking our train or not, it does not matter at all. We will keep on checking every time. So I have updated my answer, but since I have broken my train, I will again reset my sum back to 0. So we will start from here. My sum will become 5. I will check, is my sum greater than answer? Yes. So I will update my answer to 5. Then I will move forward. 13, is my sum greater than answer? Yes. Then I will move one more step forward. 15, is my sum greater than my answer? Yes. So I will update my answer. Then I will move one more step forward. Okay. 6, is my sum greater than my answer? No. So I will let it be like this. I am not going to break my train only because a negative value came. Okay. When I take this -9 and 19 together, I am still in a profit of 10 unit. Okay. And since we are talking about sub array needs to be continuous. You cannot take this 19 without this -9 if you are coming from behind. Okay, if this train wants to take this -9 and 19, I mean wants to take this 19, it should take this 9 also, -9 also. Okay, so we will break our train only when we encounter a net negative on our train sum. Otherwise we will keep on moving forward. So let's move forward. 19, I will become 25. Is my current train sum greater than answer? Yes. So update your answer. then I will move one more step forward. Let's make it minus 25. Okay, so I will become 28. Is my current train sum greater than answer? Yes, so update your answer. Then I will move one more step forward, so this time I will become 12. Is my current train sum greater than answer? No, so let it be like this. Move forward. 17. Is my current train sum greater than answer? No, so let it be like this. Move forward. Minus 25, I will become minus 8. Net negative. Before I update my sum, is my current sum greater than answer? No, so don't do anything, just reset it to 0. Then move forward. Minus 6. Again the same story. It is not greater, we will reset it to 0 since I have a net negative. Again minus 8. Okay, same story. Not greater than answer, also net negative, so I will reset it to 0. 22. Okay, so again I will compare. That is my current train sum greater than answer? No, so I will let my answer like this itself. I have reached the end, and then this is my answer 28. And if you see, this is the train that will give you 28, I guess. This 10, 15, 6, 25 and 3, 28. Do you understand, every one of you, how this is working? And it's very simple. You see, from code perspective, it's very simple. I am going to initialize a variable sum with 0, a variable answer with 0. Then I will run a loop. I equals to 0 to n minus 1. Every time, no matter what element is coming, I will add it to my sum. Okay, and every time I will check that if my sum is greater than my answer, please update my answer. Okay, and every time I will also check one more thing, that if my sum becomes net negative, please reset my sum back to 0. Just these 3 lines. Do you understand this, every one of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's quickly code it and see if it is up to the mark or not.
Excuse me, sir.
हाँ जी माधव.
सर एक्चुअली मैं लेट था तो मेरे को पता नहीं लगा इसमें हम सब एरे की कोई हमारी विंडो साइज तो नहीं है ना?
नहीं, विंडो साइज नहीं है इसमें, मैक्सिमम सब एरे सम पूछा जा रहा है.
ओके सर.
तो इतने सारे जो सब एरे है ना, n क्रॉस n प्लस 1/2, इन सब एरे में से किस सब एरे का सम मैक्सिमम है, आपको वो सब एरे नहीं बताना है, बस सम की वैल्यू बतानी है. तो देखो, इस सब एरे का सम मैक्सिमम है और सम की वैल्यू क्या है? 28.
ओके सर.
समझे? प्रोसीजर समझ में आ गया ना?
यस सर, आ गया समझ.
सेम एल्गोरिथम, वी कॉल इट कडांस एल्गोरिथम. एंड रिमेंबर, अगर अभी तक आपने ध्यान नहीं दिया हो तो, जब भी आपका डेटा सॉर्टेड हो, 2 pointer will work one way or another. It is definitely going to work. Whenever someone asks you to look at some fixed window size, sliding window protocol will always work one way or another. It will always work. It might happen that it does not work the same way that I have explained to you, but it is definitely going to work. Whenever your window size is variable, for example in this case there are these many sub array and I need to look at every window size, 1 2 3 till n, every window size. Okay, Kadans algorithm, one way or another, it is definitely going to help you. Understood?
Yes sir.
Okay, so let's quickly try to code it. Here, please have a look. It's just 3 lines of code, so I don't think it should take much time for us. Then let's have our main method. Let it load Java first. Okay, so let's have an array. You can just choose any array, it does not matter. And now for this array, I want to implement Kadans algorithm. So remember the process. We need to bring some variable in picture. Okay. Integer dot min value. And then here we need to run a loop trn. So arr dot length. So let's quickly do that. For int I equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. I will add every element in my sum blindly. Okay, like this. But then I also need to look at two different things. First, if my sum is greater than my answer, then I will update my answer. Okay, and then next, if my sum becomes net negative, then I will reset my sum back to 0. As simple as that. And then the moment you come out of this for loop, you can just print your answer. So in this case, I think this is the sub array that will give you maximum sum. This 17 is your answer. Let's have a look. And what is the time complexity of this algorithm for operations order of n? Okay, because we are just running a single loop from start to end.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर.
हाँ जी.
सर यहाँ कंडीशन लगाइए सम में अगर लेस देन 0 हो गया तो
हाँ.
अगर एरे में सारे नेगेटिव हैं तो वो सम को 0 ही देगा तो फिर वो आंसर गलत
नहीं
नहीं
तो
होगा.
इसको बार बार रीसेट करते रहेंगे. देखो मैं दिखाता हूँ आपको ये सारे नेगेटिव एलिमेंट पे कैसे चलेगा. एक मिनट पहले कंफर्म कर लेते हैं. यार मेरे को तो कभी कभी लगता है ना कि ये लैपटॉप ही स्लो हो गया है. बट देन व्हेन आई यूज इट विदाउट दिस स्क्रीनिफाई एंड विदाउट दिस 3-4 थिंग्स, हाँ लैपटॉप ही खराब हो गया यार. एक मिनट रुक जाओ यार. फोर्टी फोर कहाँ से आ गया भाई? I think this is the sub array that is having maximum sum. Sorry, this is the sub array. Count 10, 17, 13, 10, 44. So 44 is your answer. Do you understand, every one of you?
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, one more thing, how this is going to work on a negative arrays. So like let's say that if I give you an array like this, okay, it's very simple. Whenever you wish to trace some algorithm, how it is working, always trace a state of its variables. In this case we have only these two variables, sum that is initialized with 0, then we have answer that is initialized with minus infinity. Now let's run the algorithm. We will go here. First thing that we will do, we will add this element to my sum. So my sum will become minus 3. Then we will check, is my sum greater than answer? Clearly it is greater than answer, so I will update my answer to minus 3. Is my sum less than 0? Clearly it is less than 0, so I will update it to 0. Then I will go to this element. Again same story, I will add it to my sum, so my sum will become minus 5. Is my sum greater than my answer? No, so answer will not get updated. Is my sum less than 0? Yes, so my sum will become 0. Then I will go here, I will add this element to my sum, so my sum will become minus 1. Now is my sum greater than answer? Yes, so my answer will become minus 1. Is my sum less than 0? Yes, so my sum will become 0. Then I will go here, I will add it to my sum. Is my sum greater than answer? No. Is my sum less than 0? Yes. Then I will go here, I will add it to my sum. Is my sum greater than answer? No. Is my sum less than 0? Yes. So I will update my sum to 0, and then we have reached end of the array. Now you see, by that time we have minus 1 here. Madhav, do you understand this?
Yes sir.
So नेगेटिव एरे के केस में ये बार बार अपडेट करते रहेगा. Okay. Now here please have a look. Again, quickly I will iterate things that I have discussed, and then I will tell you why we are doing it like this. So first we have discussed about two pointer algorithm. Using two pointer, we must have discussed these problems like two sum, three sum, then binary search, then count frequency in sorted array using binary search. Then we have discussed sliding window. Using sliding window, maximum subarray sum of size k, then maximum subarray sum of size k with k distinct element. Then we have discussed about prefix suffix approach. Then here we have discussed about query sum problem, then trapping rainwater, best time to sell a stock, and then today we have discussed about Cadence algorithm, and using Cadence algorithm we have also discussed a problem maximum subarray sum without any size k. Okay, and then in between somewhere we have also learned the concept of subarray, subsequence and subset. Today we will discuss couple of more things, and then we are again going to go back to arrays itself. Bit manipulation, very important concept, and also there are literally 10-20 problems that we will be discussing with array. Okay, that will require this knowledge for you to solve those problems. Okay, now I think all of you must already be aware of bitwise operators. So we have some logical operators like this, logical AND, then we have logical OR. So if both side is true, then only logical AND will produce true. If any side is true, logical OR will produce true, and so on and so forth. Similarly, we have bitwise operators like this, bitwise AND. So if both of the bit is 1, then only it is going to produce 1. In all of this case it is going to produce 0, but then if I do something like this it will produce 1. Then this symbol bitwise OR, if any of the operand is 1, it is going to produce 1. If both of them are 0, then it will produce 0. Then this operator JOR, it works like this: if both bits are same, then it will produce 0. If bits are not same, then it is going to produce 1. I think all of you must already be knowing about it. In all of these operators, this is very dangerous. There's a lot of problems, very interesting and intuitive problems that will be asked to you, that will require knowledge of how this operator and a scaling of this operator works. Okay, so let's discuss about it first, and then we will come back to some problems with and then और पे तो क्या ही है, कुछ नहीं है. Here please think about it. I am telling you that if bits are same, then this operator is going to produce 0. Can I take this knowledge and say that if I perform JOR of same number, I will always get 0? Can I say it like this or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why? Because it's very obvious. And also remember one thing, bitwise operator works on bits. So if I do 7 JOR 7 internally, remember one thing, you are not supposed to be doing this. It will happen internally. Internally, this 7 will be converted into its binary form. So this is 7. Then this 7 will also be converted into binary form. JOR will be applied. 1 JOR 1 0, 1 JOR 1 0, 1 JOR 1 0, and I will get my output in decimal. Okay, so this is a decimal output that you will get, and all of these things will happen internally. You don't need to do it. So when you are solving the problem, if someone asks you to do A JOR B, you can just write this. You don't need to convert this into binary, convert this into binary. No. Okay, similarly let's say that if I perform JOR of 10 JOR 10, so 10 is 8 plus 2, this is 10. Okay, if I perform JOR of 10 with itself, 0 JOR 0 0, 1 JOR 1 0, 1 0 JOR 0 0, again 1 JOR 1 0, again I will get 0. So remember, JOR of same number is always 0. And then there are couple of more bitwise operator, for example left shift, right shift, that I have skipped here on purpose. Okay, so we have negation. So if I perform negation of 0, I will get 1. If I perform negation of 1, I will get 0. Then we have left shift. Then we have right shift. We will discuss about all of these things. I am not going into very basics because I know that every single one of you is either in third or fourth year. Okay, none of you are a fresher. Is there anyone who is a fresher here? Can you please respond? None of you are a fresher. Okay, here. So that's why I have just ignored it for now. Now, one more observation that you need to see here. If I perform JOR of any bit with 0, for example, if I perform 0 JOR 1, I will get 1. If I perform 0 JOR 0, I will get 0. So can I say that 0 JORed any bit, like 0 JOR X is always X? Can I say it like this or not?
Yes, sir.
And I can also take it and scale it up to a number, for example like this, 0 JOR n will always give you n. Look at this, if I perform JOR of this binary sequence with 0, so 1 JOR 0 1, 0 JOR 0 0, 1 JOR 0 1, I end up with the same thing that I had here. So remember, these two are very important observation that we are going to use in solving some problems. These two things, JOR of two same numbers are always 0, and 0 JORed with any number is going to give you the same number. One more thing, in JOR sequence does not matter. So A JOR B JOR C is same as B JOR A JOR C, is same as A JOR C JOR B, is same as C JOR A JOR B, and so on so forth. Okay, sequence does not really matter. Now keep these things in your mind and look at a problem. So you are given an array like this. And then you are given a value n. Now this problem statement goes like this, that this array that you see here, it is supposed to be containing every number from 1 to n. So this array is a 1 to n array. Element does not need to be in the same order. After 1 we will have to, it doesn't need to be an array like this. Okay, element can be in any order, but it is said in the problem statement that this array contains every number from 1 to n except one number. Find that missing number. Okay, find the missing value. Now before you go and do something, let me show you some approach to this problem that I do not want you to use. One very simple solution of this problem can be like this. You can come to me and you can tell me that, sir, if this array is supposed to be having every number from 1 to n, then my expected sum is this. Okay, sum of first n natural number. And from this expected sum, if I subtract actual sum, so from this value, if I subtract the sum that is available to me, I will get my missing number. Okay, in this case n value is 5, so 5 into 6 by 2 is 15. 15 minus sum of array, 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 6 10, 14. I think I have made a mistake. 3. Okay, this 6 is not supposed to be here. N is 5, so this array can only have 1 to n, 1 to 5, it cannot have 6. Okay, so here from my expected sum, this is my expected sum, if I subtract available sum, so 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 4 8, 8 plus 2 10, I will get my missing number. Does it make sense to you, every one of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, now what is the time complexity of this approach? Order of n. Why? Because there are actually two operations. This operation you can perform in constant time, and some you will have to run a loop in order to find out the sum. So order of n time you will take to find out the sum. That's why order of n. One more thing that you could have done, I have already explained you the concept of hash map. One more thing that you could have done, you could have put this element in a hash map. Okay, so 3 count doesn't, value doesn't really matter, I am only interested in key. Okay, then I will put this 1, then I will put this 4, then I will put this 2, and then what I will do, I will run a loop from 1 to n, and for every value I will ask this hash map, do you have this key or not? So if I go to this hash map and I ask that, do you have key 1, it will say yes. Do you have key 2, it will say yes. Do you have key 3, it will say yes. Do you have key 4, it is going to say yes. Do you have key 5, it will say no. So what, for whatsoever key this hash map defaults, that key is your answer. Okay, total time that you will take in this case is 2n. Order of n, you will put every element in the hash map, and then you are running a loop from 1 to n. So this is also one way to solve this problem, and in this case your space complexity is also order of n, because you are maintaining a extra hash map. Do you understand this approach also or not?
No,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay, code, forget about code for this particular thing for now. I do not want you to be using any of these approach, and problem statement remains same. You are given an array and you are given an integer value n, and it is said, and this array can also look like this. Okay, it's not said that only last value will be missing, so it might look like this also. Okay, you see this time 3 is missing. So same a story, you are given an integer array, you are given a value n, and then it is said that in this array every value from 1 to n is present except any one value. Find that particular missing value. Now if you already know the solution, तब तो फिर क्या ही कर सकते हैं. If you are looking at it for the very first time, do not look for solution on internet. Put these two things in your mind and try to figure out something. Okay, and here order also does not matter. I will be back in a moment. Meanwhile, please think about it. Just 2-3 minutes, I will be back. Okay, is that good?
Yes, sir.
Please think about it. Okay. वो क्लास फिर चल रहा है. All right, guys, please look here. Every one of you, please confirm if I am audible. We are
Yes,
going
sir.
to be looking at the procedure to solve this problem using JOR. Am I audible? Why are you crying?
Yes, sir.
Is it
Yes,
too much
sir.
per day? I saw someone crying. Just 10 minutes, okay, and we will conclude it. See, it's very easy. For example, let's take this array itself. Let's say that my n value is 5, and let's say the array that's given to me is this 3, 1, 2, 5. So 4 is missing. I am going to start with an answer variable that will be 0. I will explain you the process. Please go and try to code it on your own. It's literally a cakewalk. If you have understood sliding window protocol, if you have understood binary search and all those problems that we did, this should be a cakewalk for you. I will start with an answer variable 0. I will run a loop on this particular answer variable, and every time I encounter a element I will keep on joring it with answer. So first I will jor with 3, then I will jor with 1, then I will jor with 2, then I will jor with 5. Okay, once done with this loop, I will also run a loop from 1 to n. I know this value of n. I will also run a loop from 1 to n, and for every I will jor it to the same answer. So I will jor 1, I will jor 2, I will jor 3, then I will jor 4, then I will jor 5. This is what I will do, and then I will have my answer. How I will have my answer? Look at this sequence. I have told you that in jor order does not matter. So can I write the same sequence like this? 1 jor 1, 2 jor 2, 3 jor 3, then we have 4, and then we have 5 jor 5. Can I write the same sequence like this or not? Please respond.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and see what's happening in this sequence. Jor of same number 0, jor of same number 0, jor of same number 0, jor of same number 0. So I am left with this. Okay, 0 jor 0 jor 0 jor 0 4 0. All 0 will reduce to a single 0, and 0 jor 4 I will be left with 4. So This is actually your answer. And why it is happening? Because intentionally I have repeated every number from 1 to n and every number from array. So whatsoever was missing, that didn't got repeated, and I am now left with it. Do you understand this, what we are going to be doing?
Yes, sir.
Chandrika?
Sir, explain it one more time.
See,
Yes, sir.
I will explain one more time. So you need to ask. I understood it the moment you didn't say yes, sir. Look here. Let's say that this is the array that I have. Let's take a relatively a smaller array this time. And let's say my n value is 4. I need to find out the number that is missing in this array. So what I will do, I will start with a variable answer that will be having a value 0. Then I will run a loop on this array. I will take every element one by one and I will jar it to my answer. Okay. Then I will jar 1. Once I am done with array element, I will run a loop from 1 to n. So n value is 4. So my loop will run for this value 1, 2, 3 and 4. And all of this value I will jar it to the same sequence. Okay. Now look at this sequence. In jar, order does not matter. So the same sequence can be written like this also. 1 is being repeated twice. 2 is also being repeated twice, 3 is also being repeated twice, and 4 is being repeated only one time. This 1 jar 1 will be 0, this 2 jar 2 will be 0, this 3 jar 3 will be 0, and I will be left with 0 jar 0 jar 0 jar 0 jar 4. All this 0 will reduce to a single 0 because 0 jar 0 is 0. So 0 jar 0 0, then again 0 jar 0 0, and so on and so forth. This is what I will be left with, and 0 jar n is n, so 0 jar 4 will be 4 and I will get 4. Do you understand? And you see 4 was missing from this array. Is this understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. See, should you have any doubt, then please feel free to ask for help.
Not getting how to write in code, sir.
Sorry, you are not getting?
How to write the code, sir.
Okay. Let's quickly do that also. चलो मैं यहाँ पे आपको सूडो कोड दिखा देता हूँ. देखो, ऐसे करके एक आंसर वेरिएबल इनिशियलाइज करेंगे. Then I will run a loop on my array. So for I equals to 0 to n minus 1. Every element I will jar it to my answer. So I am going to write something like this. Answer equals to answer jar arr of I. Okay. Once done with this, I will run a loop. I am also given this array and this n. Once done with this, I am going to run a loop from 1 to n. And I will jar all of this I to my answer. Answer equals to answer jar I. That's it. And then you will have to print I. Print answer. Is it not that much simple? First I have jarred every array element. Then I am jarring from 1 to n. समझे?
Yes, sir.
Anyone, should you have any concern, any doubt, please ask for help right away. Otherwise we are done for today. None of you have any doubt? That's a good thing.
Sir,
Haji, बोलो
explain this code one more time, please.
बोलो बोलो.
ये कोड फिर से समझा दीजिए मुझे.
आरती, चलो ठीक है, हम तुमको समझा देंगे अलग से. ठीक है, जस्ट इन केस यू गाइज डू नॉट नो, शी इज माई सिस्टर. कल समझा देंगे. ठीक है. Apart from her, anyone else? Actually, I will teach her separately also, so I can ignore her for now. But then apart from her, is there anyone else who is having any concern, any doubt? No? Alright. So guys, we will do one thing. Tomorrow we are going to start. Okay, देखते हैं किट. We will think about that. Okay. कल सबकी छुट्टी है कॉलेज में.
Yes, sir.
I will put a call in the
नहीं
group
सर,
and
क्लास है सर.
हाँ देखो ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं. ये सेम ही चीज करा. इन्होंने पहले 1 से लेके n तक का जॉर अलग वेरिएबल में रख लिया, फिर एलिमेंट का जॉर अलग वेरिएबल में रख लिया और बाद में उन दोनों वेरिएबल को जॉर कर दिया. यू कैन ऑल्सो डू दिस वन. It's the same thing effectively. Okay, Chandrika, is it clear for you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so guys, we will end today's session now. See, some more days in the next week, we might run class only for 1 hour or 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes, because of some of my personal reasons. Okay, but then once I settle those things, we will again go back in full form. And if you guys are comfortable, do let me know. We can have class tomorrow in the afternoon also. Okay, I will put a poll in the group and let's see how many of you are comfortable with that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here. I will see you again tomorrow, but then please make sure that you practice a little bit on your own at your home before you come to the next class. Bye bye guys. Good night. Take care.
Okay, bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.